How long have you waited for someone to give you permission to do what you really want to do? We seem so indoctrinated into seeking validation from others, it becomes addictive, but we end up inert and not moving forward.
In this episode, we dive into how giving yourself permission is the first step to prioritising yourself. Because the truth is, if you don't prioritise yourself, it negatively impacts everything and everyone around you in the long term. Hi, I'm James Davis.
And I'm Claire Davis.
We're the Midlife Mentors, here to lift the lid on how to achieve health and happiness.
The balanced, no-nonsense way.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Midlife Mentors with me, James.
Me, Claire. We don't mean to start it giggling, but I've just given James a look. You know,
Dirty
ladies.
look, a
you know,
dirty look.
You know, one of those looks that just kills. Because James, say what you were going to say just before we came on to record this about the podcast, the other podcast. Go on,
So
say
we did promise you that we were doing the amazing podcast with a doctor of molecular biology coming this week. And we still have got that one for you, but obviously it's not this week. That's because we had some.
No, tell them why.
We had some issues with the sound quality on our end, so we're having to just re-edit. So hopefully it'll be next week.
That isn't actually what happened, friends. James was muffling into the mic. Well, it was actually on Zoom, wasn't it? So you were muffling and scruffling around on Zoom, and I kept saying, speak up. But he didn't listen to me because he's stubborn. And he's come out, you can't hear it.
Technical hitch, Claire, because
you can hear
in
my
places
voice.
We cannot hear you either, which is, I know, it's strange to believe. Your strident tones and go all dulcet. I mean, it's
my Dartford tones.
If only you could find a filter to have that happening permanently.
It's so mean to me.
We love you, really, baby.
You're so mean to me. No, it was. I kept saying to him, speak up. So guess who's got to edit all of that? Me. So James is like, oh, we will get it out, but it's going to take me hours and hours to edit that. So if anyone out there wants to edit that podcast for free, do let us know. So I don't have to do it. Anyway, today we're really excited to talk to you about. We are actually recording this late. Normally this goes out on a Wednesday, but
it's been a manic old week.
We've given ourselves permission. Drum roll, because this is all about permission and prioritising. We've given ourselves permission to actually be a few days late on this because we were just run off our feet doing lots of other things. So we've let it go and given ourselves permission to do it on Saturday morning instead. So that's what we're doing.
And it'll be up today.
It will be up today. So we're excited to do this. We've done a workshop on this in one of our communities before, and we wanted to talk to you today about the importance of giving yourself permission to do what you want to do in life. Now, we're not saying go off and just do whatever you want without any consideration for other people, but so often we give other people permission to go off and do the things that they want. You know, imagine sitting there with a friend and a friend's going, oh, I really want to do this, or this is my dream, or I want to move here, or start this business, whatever. And we really give them so much encouragement, so much praise, so much permission, basically, to go and do those things that they want to do. But when it comes to ourselves, we kind of sit there waiting for the right people to be on board and give us permission. And we don't ever really work out as adults, I think, to how to give ourselves permission to do the things that we want to, because we're always looking out for outside validation.
This came up for me with a client we're coaching at the moment. Very driven, amazing, successful business. But we're talking about, making time for yourself during all this. Because what so many of us, and me included, Claire included, tend to do is focus on the things that you think are important. Like keeping the business moving forward. What do I need to do? But we fail to prioritise and recognise our own needs, our own personal needs. And this is so true for so many of us, right? When was the last time you actually sat down with a blank bit of paper and thought, what would I like to achieve just for me this week? That's not related to my partner, my family, my kids, my work. Just something for me, for the sake of me. Like, we rarely do it. And here's the thing: the old adage that you cannot give from an empty vessel is so true. We can get by so long throwing all our energy and focus into a certain project or multiple projects, but eventually we will run out of steam on those unless we start looking after numero uno. So this is what this is about. It's about a benevolent kind of selfishness.
Yes, and I think prioritising yourself, which is what James is talking about there, we are going to touch on prioritising as well, but it starts with that permission. And what we do with our clients a lot of the time, when we have our consultation calls, actually, that's the first step to giving them permission to focus and prioritise on themselves. And I love that. Often we say to clients on those calls, well, we're giving you, what if this was the moment, this is the exact moment in time you're supposed to land at right here, right now, where we give you permission to put yourself first and prioritise yourself, not the job, not being an amazing partner for everyone else to the detriment of yourself, not being, not putting your children at the top of your list all the time. They're always going to be there, of course, but actually prioritising your own health and wellness and happiness, your mental, physical health. And actually putting yourself up there with that priority list, not necessarily downgrading anyone, but not putting yourself at the bottom of the pile. And it starts with permission. So that's what we're giving you right here, right now, is I just want this to resonate with you. What if you listening to this podcast at this right moment in time is we give you permission to put yourself, your health and happiness and what you want out of life first. Because when you do, you're such an energy and a force for everyone else. You will inspire other people. Like James said, you can't give them an empty cup. You'll just be full of self-fulfillment and actually just running yourself into the ground and burning yourself out because you're prioritising everyone else's lives and everything else on top of yours is it's not going to end well.
Yeah, well, I know some people, the question that often comes back to us will be like, but isn't that like selfish? Because we have a kind of ideological issue with this, I guess, when we've become so used to giving ourselves to other things, whether that's kids, family, work, whatever, that stepping back from that to actually give ourselves permission to invest in ourselves can feel a bit uncomfortable. We could put this label selfish on, but here is the thing: when you start giving yourself that time, that space, that energy and that focus to develop, then your true light starts to come through and you actually become an inspiration for others, and you'll lift up other people around you and give them permission to actually focus on being the best version of themselves as well. So it's actually a very unselfish thing to do.
Exactly. And I just do think this whole thing around permission, it does hold us back. So I just want you to think about the times in your life where you have waited for people to say, yeah, it's okay, go ahead, do this, do that. And actually you're still waiting. You're still waiting. Those things have been burning within you for a while. And here's the thing, a lot of these things, they don't get less, they become more. And that leads to a lot of frustration that you're not doing it, but you're waiting for permission. So I just want you to think about the thing that you've always wanted to do, but you're waiting for someone else to validate it and say it's okay. And I think, we've been indoctrinated from this, from childhood. We're tribal animals, right? So baseline, we're tribal animals. So we tend to want to please other people and be accepted. That's where the whole permission thing comes from. But also from very, very young age, we're indoctrinated to wait for permission from other people. I'll give you an example, like teachers. When you're at school, they tell you when to eat. They tell you when to get up and play. They tell you when you can do a subject. Your home life, they would have told you when you can go to bed, when you can eat again, when you can have a treat. Even at work, when you go into the working world, when you can be promoted, when you can work on a certain project. So we're always waiting. It's like we get so used to not understanding our own guidance system that we're constantly waiting for people to say, yes, it's okay for you to do this. So we kind of completely forget that innate ability to say, okay, what do I want to do? Can I give myself permission for it rather than waiting for everyone to be on board? Because that leads to an incredibly frustrating life.
Yeah, totally. Listen, a really powerful exercise, I'm going to throw this in here, is, just grab a bit of paper right now. Grab a bit of paper. And
as long as you're not driving or running, people listen to this.
if you're not driving or operating machinery. flying an aircraft solo. Just write down, just think about, I give myself permission to. What would you really like to do? And stage 2 of that, I would just like you to, once you've written that down, give myself permission to whatever that thing is. After this podcast, just go and find your schedule for next week and block out 30 minutes each day where you are going to do that thing that you give yourself permission for, totally uninterrupted for you. Just 30 minutes. We're keeping it short so your subconscious won't freak out about it, so you can fit it into your day.
I've just started doing this because there's some stuff, even with what we do, and loving it. It's our passion, it's our mission. There are other elements of myself that I think do go untouched, and that I really, really want to do certain things that are aside from the business. And when you're building your own business, you don't necessarily give yourself permission to do other things. So actually, I've started doing that, like half an hour a day, studying, doing something that really excites me. Doing a bit more meditation, doing some self-development stuff is really helping me, isn't it, Mr. D?
How is that word of the day, toilet paper, working out for you?
I was going to say something really sarcastic about what you do in your half an hour, but I don't think it's appropriate. So just on this, I just want to give you a few tips before we move on to kind of like, I suppose, the prioritising stuff. When you are trying to be validated or trying to get validation from everyone else, and you're worrying what everyone else is thinking, or you're listening to someone giving you advice about what you want to do, one of the tips, got 3 tips. Tip number 1, make sure you ask this question when you're listening to someone else's opinion or advice. Does this person have the life I want? Or does this person have a life like I would want to live? Because we are all individual. We all have our own purpose, our own path, our own mission of fulfillment, right? So you listening to someone that has a completely different life that you actually wouldn't even, you can respect it, but someone that doesn't have the life you want. For example, if you've got a friend that has lived in the same location, the same town, she's got some children, and that makes her so happy. She's so fulfilled. It's like everything she ever wants, but you want to go and have adventures and move abroad and start your own business and things like that. There's nothing wrong with either of those. But taking advice from someone like that, just ask yourself, is it really relevant to where I want to go? And tip number 2 is what I would ask is, ask yourself, are they happy? This person that's giving me this advice about what to do with my life, and I'm waiting for permission from, are they happy in theirs? Are they? Are they? And tip number 3 is, are they just projecting their fears about life onto me? Because all the time this happens in relationships, whatever relationship, work relationships, romantic relationships, friendships, everything. This always happens. People get scared when you challenge their worldview, right? So your worldview isn't never going to be the same as anyone else's. But are they projecting their own fears of the world, of their life, onto you? And also, they like to see you potentially at a certain level because it makes them feel safe in their own world. It doesn't, they don't mean to do it, but I see this all the time with clients, and I've seen this in my own life. They try and keep you small. And I say small, not on purpose, but not to expand your level of consciousness, because they don't want to shine a light on the things that they haven't had the courage to do or haven't been able to do because they haven't given themselves permission. They've been waiting for someone to go, it's okay. And it's never going to be as powerful as if you could just take the reins yourself and say, is that what they're doing? There we are.
Well put. Those are 3 great tips there.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about how that then relates to, firstly, giving yourself permission to prioritise yourself.
So this one's really important. Like, so often, it's a 2-step process, really. First one is like giving yourself permission. So that's like writing down, I give myself permission to. The next one is prioritising. So you give yourself permission to do X, Y, Z, but unless you actually physically put the time and space to do that thing, it's not going to happen. It reverts to being just wishful thinking. So you need that opening, that moment when you finally decide to give yourself permission to change.
And that's when everything does shift. Everything shifts.
So, I was going to say, here's the truth. Like, you don't find time. This is what we say all the time. You don't find time. You make time. And we get to all the clients. Like, I think the biggest barrier to people getting a handle on their personal development, or even just their kind of their health, their fitness, is this,
I don't have time.
Yeah, I don't have time excuse. And, you know, we're very fortunate. We plan our own time and our own days, but we know we have clients that, you know, work together in businesses where they're juggling teams on multiple continents in multiple time zones. We have like board level of huge corporations, you know, people single mums with kids who are working. This whole illusion, it's a really easy get out we give ourselves. It's like, oh, I don't really have time. Don't have time for that. I tell you what, if you keep telling yourself that you don't have time, guess what? You won't have. What happens in 10 years' time when you haven't given yourself that time? You look back and go, you know what? I wish I had given myself that time.
I tell you what, as well, there are plenty of other people. Here's a truth bomb. There are plenty of other people that are busier than you. You might think that you're the busiest person on the planet, but there'll be someone always that is busier than you, and they still make time for self-development, for self-care, because your health is your wealth. If you haven't got your health, you've got nothing else matters, okay? So this should always, over money, over everything, your health should be your number one priority, not just for you, but for everyone in your life and for the quality of your life to come. So, you know, this whole thing, we're so passionate about people saying they don't have time, because we have seen so many other people that have made the time. You're not going to magically find it.
Well, that's the thing. Start investing in your health, or you'll spend the rest of your life paying for not having done so.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, we've kind of already said that you can't give from an empty vessel, and that it's not selfish. And please, you know, please don't wait. We do this a lot on our stress workshops that we do for corporate organisations. You know, we do some lovely workshops for them, and a lot around stress, obviously, but not just the mental side of it, but the physiological impact that that's having, and how we just sit at this level that is normal, and then all of a sudden our body kicks in and says, I'm not doing this anymore. You're not fueling me properly, you're stressing me out, you're not exercising me, you're not moving me, I'm giving up. And that's called burnout, friends. So, you know, making sure that you are putting the time in now, making time, not finding time, is essential.
If you prioritise yourself, you are going to save yourself. And that is from Gabrielle Union.
Exactly. So, obviously, with prioritising yourself, you do have to put a plan in place. So, it's not as sexy to talk about, you know, planning. Everyone goes, oh my goodness, I plan my life. I don't know, you know, planning my health and well-being, again, isn't top of my priority. Well, make it, because of all the reasons that we said. So we have a thing where every Sunday, James and I sit down and plan ahead. But we don't just plan in our work stuff. We plan in that half an hour for self-development. You know, we plan in our work schedule. We plan in our workouts, and also plan on what we're going to be eating and when we're going out, socialising. Because the thing is, if you don't have a plan, you're what's the phrase?
Failed to plan to fail. Failed to plan to fail. I'll give you a concrete example here, right? It's like anything, right? Yeah, we come up with these things that we want to do, we want to achieve. You might say, like, I want to go on a date with my partner next week. But unless you actually, like, figure out what day that is, put the time in the diary for both of you, maybe arrange where you're going to go. It's just a wish, you know, and you know from experience, you say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start that workout routine. But you don't put it in your schedule. When you wake up on Monday morning, you know, Sunday, you're like, I'll start tomorrow. Monday morning, you wake up, you're like, I don't know if I fancy it today. Guess what? Put it in, like, the date. Wednesday, 8 p.m, we are going out to so-and-so place. It's happening. It's in. It's much more likely to happen. You're much more likely to succeed at your goals when you plan them, when you prioritise and give yourself permission to succeed at them.
I've got another quote here. It's not a big one, I've just got it here. A goal without a plan is just a wish. See, I've remembered that one. Well done, Claire.
Well done, Claire.
But it's an essential piece of the 3P pie is what we call it. The 3P pie. It's permission, prioritising and planning. And those are the elements that are really going to get you to where you want to get. But I would say the most important thing to take away from the podcast really is what are you waiting for permission to do? Because how's that working out for you? And you know, at the end of the day, this is your journey and your experiences, and the only thing we ever really want, when you drill it down and you ask people why they want something, why, they just want to be happy. Happiness and fulfillment is the end goal, right? And if you're moving through life at the moment, waiting for permission to do something, or waiting for everyone to be on board, or waiting for people to validate your decision or your options, you know, yes, do your research, get the facts together, do whatever you need to do. But, you know, anyone's opinion outside of that is their opinion, and ask those questions to yourself. You know, who are you taking advice from? Who are you waiting for permission from? And what's the cost of you waiting for all this permission on your health and your happiness and your future? So, you know, we always say it's the 3 Ps. It's permission, prioritise and plan. But, you know, the planning element, just making sure that you have that goal, that focus, and you understand why you want it. But if it's not planned in, like James said, it's not happening. If it's not planned in, it ain't happening. And then it becomes habitual. Once you get into that planning routine, like we do on a Sunday, it becomes easier and easier to plan. And actually, it's part of your life to plan that in for the rest of the week. So, and it's less easy to become derailed as well. So when you've got things in concrete, yes, they're going to shift around, but you feel more confident, and you are trusting what the week ahead looks like, and you'll not be as easily derailed by things because you know what's coming, and that gives a real sense of control and power back over your life. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed that.
And next week we'll be having a podcast with a doctor in molecular biology.
Apparently, unless anyone else wants to edit a podcast for me,
you should prioritise that editing.
Oh my goodness. Can you imagine the look that I'm giving him right now? Thank goodness this is voice and not video, because the evil looks I'm giving him, it's going to take me ages. He doesn't do any of the editing, it's all me. But yes, I just wanted to also, this is going out now, today, we have our Midlife Reset happening starting on Bank Holiday Monday. Now, just want to tell you this, anyone that has followed me on social media will know that I've felt really off over the last couple of months. My nutrition hasn't been on point. It's made me feel sluggish. I haven't felt comfortable in my own skin, in my clothes. I really wanted to regain control. So I've been doing something called Project Me inside our Midlife Mentors community. It's called the Midlife Mentors community. If you're not in there, get yourself in there, because so many people are doing it at the same time, this Project Me Reset. But what's amazing is we've got a totally free experience for you, completely free coaching reset experience for you starting on Monday. It's for 6 days. The reason it's 6 days, we're giving you a slice of what we cover in our 6 pillars to midlife health and happiness that make up the midlife method, and we're giving it to you all for free. So you'd be really, really silly to miss this, because it's the experience inside our app as well, which is pretty friggin' awesome, to be honest.
It's going to be awesome. We got tons of people signed up to it already. Yay! So we're super excited. We'll put the link, of course, in the show notes. You will only have till tomorrow, Sunday, to sign up. Once it's up and running, you will not be able to join. So do not delay.
Jump in quick. I'll pop those in the show notes, and we're sending you so much love. As always, let us know how you found this one. Please review and share and tell all your friends about it, and let us know if there's something you want us to do a podcast on.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Midlife Mentors with Claire and James Davis.
We'd love to hear from you. So drop us a line at info@themidlifementors.com with any questions or topic suggestions.
And make sure you join us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can find us under the Midlife Mentors.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.